Dan from Windsor says Laura Jane Grace from the band Against Me is ridiculing Tim Pool all over her social media right now. Binder knows who she is, guaranteed.
Oh, yes. Against Me, one of my all-time faves. Saw them for the first time at ABC No Rio in like 2002. They're great. So their singer, Laura Jane Grace, is a trans woman who came out well into the band's career. So, so sure, some not so great people who thought they liked the band, but I just actually didn't pay attention to the lyrics, are no longer fans of theirs. And it appears that Tim Pool is one of those people.
Oh, really?
Is Binders Against Me the band that has the song Prayer for the Refugee?
No, I don't think that's them.
Oh,
No.
That's Rise Against.
My bad.
They are friends with Rise Against, and they toured with Rise Against, and I've actually seen them play together numerous times. But they're the one who had their big song was Pints of Guinness Make You Strong. They're a great band, and Laura Jane Grace has embarked on like a solo sort of career, and she opened up for one of Bernie's anti-oligarchy tours. I think one of the Wisconsin dates this past weekend. And she played one of her new songs that the right did not like. So Tim Pool has come out and attacked her over this song. And he's claiming to be like a former fan or was a fan or something like that. And so he's attacking her along with the rest of the right. But he's like using his like, I guess, old like fan bona fides to like make his attack mean more or something. And then it ended up like apparently he misunderstood the entire meaning of one of the songs that he brought up in his anti-Against Me tirade, and she had to correct him or something like that.
That's funny.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny because these are the guys who were claiming that conservative is the new punk rock, and I would say, that Laura Jane Grace and Against Me are probably like the most influential punk bands that came out like in the 2000s. Like they are up there. Like they are. It's impossible to say you're a fan of punk and not be aware of Against Me. If it's unbelievable that they're attacking her and claiming that they used to be punk or they are punk or that conservatism is the new punk rock.
We have a clip of Russell Brand talking about this, and I just think it's really rich.
Okay, go
he's
for
on
it.
his Christian tip about it, so here you go.
So here's Russell Brand, I guess, upset about the developments Binder just described.
God have a big fat cause it feels like he's fucking me. Are his balls filled with lightning? Do they tingle like heaven's keys? Does your God have a big fat cause it feels like he's fucking me?
Oh, that's blasphemy. And I'll tell you what bothers me about it is I can see the sort of excitement of that person, the perpetrator. Like I can feel he's already pleased with himself. Like, yeah,
Okay,
I'm
wait,
singing
so-
a really tough song.
He's misgendering her, right? Nice, dude.
Purposefully.
Didn't you like? What wasn't he the guy that was so edgy that he dressed up as Bin Laden the day after 9/11 for his radio show, and he was just like such a counterculture person that he didn't vote for Labor or for the Tories until.
You should go back to that. That's a pretty good bit.
He turned out for Labor.
He did?
Under Miliband and the Bin Laden thing. Yeah, that was part of his original lore back in the Bush administration. When I heard about him, I'm like, this crazy comedian. It turns out he did that less out of like a sort of stunt against imperialism or the coming war on terror, and more about him being jealous of all the attention that Osama bin Laden got after 9/11 and wanting it for himself.
That's hilarious, but I'm also just tickled by this guy who's a notorious sexual philanderer and now very credibly accused of non-consensual sexual acts by many different accusers, saying that the idea that you would say something like this is blasphemous.
This is blasphemy. He used to harass one of his producers who believed in God, calling him Nick the Vicar's son because his dad was a vicar. And those were actually very funny jokes.
Right.
And I wonder if Russell repents for those every day
He
now.
should. Was that blasphemous, Russell? He's a pearl clutcher, but he's also a rosary clutcher now, I guess, apparently.
What were you gonna say, Brandon?
Yeah, sorry.
I was going to
Brandon.
say, you can tell he's innocent of all those accusations because he's wearing a hoodie that says Jesus is king now. Oh, no, I'm sorry. A jumper for our UK friends.
I'm singing a really tough song. I'm giving it to God, man, because I'm saying God's got a dick. God is the creator of all reality. God's not squeamish. When it comes to sort of taboos and guidance, it's not like you can't be, say, sort of promiscuous or profane. You can do all of those things. It's just you will suffer. And if you watch that again, you can see the suffering in that person just on the edge of eczema. And just on the edge of a kind of a tautness. He's got a sort of a tautness coming through his skin. That's the first time I've ever seen that person. It might be the last. I don't know. Perhaps he'll go on to be an influential genius. But like, what I think is that you can see vibrating out of that person a kind of a deep sadness and dissatisfaction.
I think so he posted this himself. That's interesting. I mean, you sound like you're having delusional thoughts. So
Right.
I'm not necessarily sure we should trust you.
He's projecting.
Yeah.
First of all, like it's funny he's like trying to like read Laura Jane Grace's like true feelings when actually like this is a musician with a band and a solo career who's been around for like I think this past week or a couple of weeks ago was like the 23-year anniversary of their debut album, Reinventing Axl Rose, and this is a band. She's the singer, and she has been very open over the years in all the songs about all the different things that she's gone through, from divorce, the first album that came out after she came out as trans was entirely about gendered dysphoria and her coming out as trans. Like, this is someone who's been very open about everything. So the fact that he's trying to like from afar gauge how she feels, literally just listen to her music.
Or like Wikipedia.
That's all you got to do. It just tells you everything.
I'm detecting a bit of emotion in this punk rock vocalist. Yeah, man, that's why everyone knows who they are. That's literally
Right.
how they became known to the world, is expressing emotion through song. Well done. I mean, what's sad is how surface level this is. Like Russell Brand, when I saw him out in Long Island, Nassau Coliseum, about a decade ago, interesting crowd, but we don't need to talk about that. He was doing interesting stuff like opening the newspaper and just talking about like the different like the economy and breaking down articles and stuff like that. Now, it wasn't the most cutting edge analysis. It was okay for a comedian, though. It was nice to have a comedian say like the bankers are bad and the NHS is good. And now he can only comment on a person's like immediate looks. Like, that's all what would Jesus think of that, Russ?
Yeah.
Would Jesus be like, the person has tight skin, oh, in it?
And it's just his theology just feels also connected to some sort of mental illness or delusion
/ performance, which has always been the case with Russ.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's a true believer. And so I think when you get these people who ultimately have just converted as a way to get out of accusations and to grift on an incredibly impressionable audience, they can't help but perform the kind of like, evangelical preacher type that like they have in their head from their time as being like, a famous atheist who looks down on those people ultimately. So I think he just can't help but like ultimately look and act like somebody who is patronizing his audience because he thinks they're probably stupid. Like, they're stupid enough to fall for this.
He's trying the guru thing and like not selling it very well.
He found the easiest market with the dumbest hogs, frankly. Russell Brand does not believe in God. I do not think that. If he does believe in God, if you could look into his brain when he thinks of God, it would look exactly like Russell Brand today.
Yeah.
If you could look into his brain, it would be full of parasites from when he got baptized in the Thames. That's what in his brain. It's like Swiss cheese.
All right.
It's really funny how much these guys like totally misunderstand stuff. That like total media illiteracy. Because one of the things Tim Pool was
can't understand art. Yeah.
One of the things Tim Pool was going after was how another one against me's big early songs was called "Baby, I'm an Anarchist," which was sort of like tongue in cheek, but he brought that up about how like, oh, and now she's opening up for Bernie Sanders, which, you know, Bernie Sanders is not perfect, but out of all the politicians, pretty punk rock. But anyway, Against Me does have a song much later on called "Teenage Anarchist," which discusses how their views have changed over the years. Like, this is just a guy who's like completely talking about Tim Pool now, just completely like trying to use this idea that he knows what he's talking about in something that I guess he was a fan of when he was younger, and just doesn't even know what the current position of that they have are. Like, it's the same thing you see with people who are like, oh, Rage for the Machine now.
They don't realize they're the machine.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.